Hey guys, it's your Ford Focus here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Bugatti EB110, the Arrinera Hussarya, the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, and the Cadillac CTS-V Coupe. So now, let's start reviewing the cars with the Bugatti EB110 Supersport. So Bugatti EB110 has a max speed of 216 miles per hour, 348 kilometers, 3.1 seconds in 0 to 60, $1,250 per mile, an all-wheel drivetrain like all Bugattis do, and asking price, which is the most expensive for this update, at $2,028,000. So now, let's purchase the Bugatti and get into in-depth review. So the Bugatti EB110 is the hypercar that we know for in the 90s. This was the very car that predecessed the Bugatti Veyron, and still always known today. There are only 300 real-life models in the world, and this seems to be a true masterpiece for its predecessor of the Veyron, which eventually the Veyron would set a world record. And if you notice in design, I really like the way how 20 pilots put in the headlights, but then like put a cover over it, and then you can see some more exterior part into the headlights. And what's also pretty unique is that 20 pilots inserted holes to the sides, but I guess that's what Bugatti did with the EB110. And you can also see the engine bay from here. The back is also really cool with the way that 20 pilots put in those ovals, and perhaps that makes it a cool touch of the car. And then with the wheel lights as well, you can see two lights that are shaped like ovals, but yet 20 pilots set in a very retro contrast. You can see the stripes on it to make it look 90s style, and then got a little square underneath. But now, here are the headlights and turn signals. On the front, there are two little seal-like lights that blink right beside the headlights, and on the rear is the yellow half, or rather close to the side, and you can easily see the white stripes that make its retro look. So that's a pretty cool touch right there. And the way that 20 pilots did the headlights, it's really cool. They can see a retro-like style with one of the headlights peeking out as a circle, and then the rest of it is just covered by a rectangle. So now, let's get into the performance. We'll start the acceleration test from 0 to 100 and full speed, entering on I-76. Acceleration from 0 to 100 and full speed starts in 3, 2, 1, go. So, in about 6 seconds, this thing can go from 0 to 100, and in 13 seconds, this can reach in full speed. Braking is alright on the EB110. You earn 1,314 XP per mile. And now it's time to test handling at the South Beach exit. Handling is overall taking a little steering, but still pretty light. This can give you some control over the car as well. And now, it's time to express my thoughts about the Bugatti EB110 Supersport. So, the Bugatti EB110 Supersport is a car I would recommend, especially those who want a budget Bugatti. A Bugatti that you could easily afford with just a few supercars afterwards. The car has some really nice tweaks and retro style, especially replicating from the 90s. And about the car for grinding, I would recommend it. Even though there are cars that have better acceleration like the McLaren P1 and a few others to choose from, this car is still really a good one to choose. With that said, I would strongly recommend the Bugatti EB110. And if you really enjoy the retro style from the 90s. And now, with one final thing to show you guys, is the boost, which just comes out of the two exhaust pipes underneath from all those ovals located on the back. Now, let's move on to the next car, which is one that's a bit more hard to pronounce, the Arrinera Hussarya. So the Arrinera Hussarya is a car that is pretty hard to pronounce, as you'll see the pronunciation text right there. As Twenty Pilots calls this a Polish masterpiece, this is truly one of the only Polish exotics in the world. And perhaps this is the only game that contains the Arrinera Hussarya. No other game contains this. Which means that Ultimate Driving is the only game where you'll find a Polish exotic like this. With a max speed of 211 miles per hour, 340 kilometers, 3.2 seconds, and 0 to 60. $969 per mile for its cashback, rear-wheel drivetrain, and a price of $545,600. Now, let's get this and head to a review. So the Arrinera Hussarya is a pretty mad looking car overall. You can look at the headlights and you see that they have a look. With the way that they point out, you can tell that the headlights are definitely mad looking. I guess if you're really into that, then this car is for you. On the back, it also looks very cool. With the way that Twenty Pilots did with the wheel of the car, that's saying Arrinera. Way he did it with the lights too. Add some extra accents over there, making the car replicate its realistic form. And the exhaust. I'd say that they're the coolest exhaust out there. If you look at it in detail, you can see that Twenty Pilots has put in a net-like shape around it, even though it's actually metal. But it's pretty cool that the way Arrinera did this. Overall, the grille of Arrinera is really cool. And if you look carefully, here's a little quirk that you don't find on any other car, but on the window behind the doors for sides. It's on Hussarya for both sides, which is really cool. Here are the headlights and turn signals. It appears that the turn signals do not blink on the headlights. However, they do blink on the red rings around the right part of the rear lights. And now, it's time for performance test. Acceleration from 0 to 100 and full speed begins in 3, 2, 1, go. So, in just roughly about 5.5 seconds, you get a 0 to 100 acceleration. But if you go towards full speed, then you get it in about 12 seconds. Braking is really fast and good on the Arrinera Hussarya. You earn 573 XP per mile. And it looks good on the Arrinera Hussarya, but like as its competitor throughout the price range, the McLaren 720S is a lot lighter than this. Still, the Arrinera Hussarya does a good job overall in handling, as you saw there. And yeah, it's overall a little heavier than some of the lighter cars to choose from in that price range. Now, it's time to express my thoughts about the Arrinera Hussarya. So this is a Polish masterpiece that is hard to pronounce. In fact, I had to do a lot of research in order to get the pronunciation right. But thankfully I was able to find a video, and I was able to announce it in Ultimate Driving Leaks. But this car overall, I say this is a pretty good grinder's car for the $500,000 price range. And it's pretty nice to have a Polish car that you never heard of. And this is one of the only games in the world that has this car. Other than Roblox Ultimate Driving, the only other game that I can think of which has the Arrinera Hussarya is a racing game that goes throughout Android, which is Asphalt 8. So this is an extremely rare car to find. So this is totally worth it for its price. It's good for a grinder's car. And even if you just want to use it for fun, that's good as well. And now, here is the boost animation. And next, it's time to go to the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. So now, it's time to take a look at the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. This looks really sporty overall as a Trackmaster. With a max speed of 193 miles per hour, 311 kilometers, 3 seconds in 0 to 60, $862 per mile in cashback, a rear-wheel drivetrain, and an asking price of $375,000. Let's get this thing and go and take a spin. So the Porsche 911 GT3 RS is a Trackmaster, like I said when we were at the list. And it has some pretty cool accents there. Really like the way how 20 Price replicated design with this. The GT3 RS badging beside the doors is secondary color. Did a good job with the vents, the bumpers. And here's something really nice to show you. 22 Pilots has made the interior in this car so detailed. Yes, that's right. you can see that inside, just look at the way how 22 Pilots did with the steering wheel. He even put the Porsche logo, for crying out loud. You don't find a logo on the steering wheel in any other car. He had a detail with the odometers, the lever, the dashboard, the interior vents, the GPS, even the leather seats. Or whatever they are, for bucket seats. He did a good job of every detail you could find. And that gives you an important clue that in a future update, 22 Pilots is going to make cars that have detailed interiors like this. Like, this is the best interior out of any car in Ultimate Driving history. Nothing can beat this. So I give the prize to this car for best interior. Everything in the car is just so highly detailed. Even the wood around it. Something totally worth for. And that's one unique thing that you do not find in any other car. Fun fact, this car also set a record around the Nürburgring. So this car truly deserves to be in this game, as an honor for that. The headlights too, as he made it a nice round circle over the actual parts that make up the lights. But now, without further ado, let's get in with the turn signals and headlights. So if the headlights, they light up as the two round lights inside as well as the outer circle. And then for the turn signals, on the front you get lights going across the bumper and some on the side that touch the wheel. On the rear, if you go and look carefully, you get a line that blinks and really nice as it matches in. Blends in really good with the rear lights for that one yellow line. It's pretty cool. And then you get another strip for a light as you put on the brakes. Everything in this car and design is just amazing in appearance. But now, without further ado, let's get in right to the performance. Acceleration from 0 to 100 and full speed begins in 3, 2, 1, go. So, in 0 to 100, it runs at about 5 seconds, and somewhere between 11.5 to 12 seconds is where you get the full speed acceleration. Braking is also really good on the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. And now, let's test out the handling at one of the Westover streets. Handling is really light on the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. And now, it's time to express my thoughts about the car. So the Porsche 911 GT3 RS is yet another car that is definitely worth it. In fact, it has one of the most detailed interiors, for crying out loud. Or should I say, the most detailed. This is how good the car is. Performance is also outstanding. No wonder it's a Trackmaster. And no wonder it set a record for the Nürburgring. Porsche did a really good job on this, And I'm glad to finally learn a lot more about this car in Ultimate Driving. And so, with that said, I strongly recommend that this is another great grinders car to go to. A great racing car too. And perhaps even as a collector's edition or role plays. It's got everything that you would really like on this car. And now, let's move on to the final car that we're going to be reviewing in this video, the Cadillac CTS-V Coupe. The Cadillac CTS-V Coupe is a much faster and sportier version than the regular Cadillac CTS-V itself. And it's also in two-door form. The car has a max speed of 200 miles per hour, 322 kilometers, 4 seconds in 0 to 60 for acceleration, $653 per mile with this, a rear-wheel drivetrain, and a price of $135,590. And now, let's get into in-depth detail with the Cadillac CTS-V. So the appearance on the Cadillac CTS-V Coupe seems to be really nice on the front, and the grille really goes along with it, as well as the bats and the headlights. Go towards the rear, also looks very nice, but seems like to be one of the lightest and biggest things I have ever seen on a Cadillac, to be honest. But the rear lights have that pretty nice touch, and it looks nice when you go to the side from the rear of the car, where you can see the big light, and then it curves up. So that's pretty cool. And it looks like this when you're facing the rear. Even though that the back of the Cadillac CTS-V may be more likely bigger and to take up more space than most Cadillacs do. The design though just looks very nice, and again, one of its kind. Now here are the headlights and turn signals. On the front, you can notice that the turn signals blend in perfectly, matching up the headlights. While on the rear, it's just that the rear lights are blinking. And it's not all the way, it's rather those long rectangles on the side of the trunk. Just blinking follows extra lines going across them. If you go further on top of the trunk, nothing happens. And then on the tail light, which is a third-party light sitting above the truck, just completely blinks. Now, let's test out the performance on the Cadillac CTS-V Coupe. Acceleration from 0 to 100 and full speed begins in 3, 2, 1, go. So, in just under 7 seconds, this thing goes 0 to 100, and in full speed in about 14 seconds with no boost. Braking is decent, not too bad. 368 experience points for every mile you make. Handling may just seem to be a little heavy, but still really decent. And now, here are my thoughts to express about the Cadillac CTS-V Coupe. So the Cadillac CTS-V Coupe, I would recommend it a grindy car if you really like Cadillacs. However, with the handling though, where you're about to find out as I go on this road, you'll notice that this car likes to wobble a lot. So that's just a precaution right there if you decide to get the Cadillac CTS-V Coupe. And there are some cars that are for free, like when you unlock at rank 50 for Citizen Team, you unlock the Porsche Boxster. It gives slightly more cash than this, or about the same, but still a really good amount. And again, I recommend this, especially if you like two-door Cadillacs. And now, it's time to conclude the video for the review of the following cars that I've just showed you. So yes guys, that's going to be it for the video right there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video very much. You may like this video. Comment in the box below if your thoughts about the cars that I just reviewed in this amazing update, which involves the Bugatti EB110, the Arrinera Hussarya, the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, and the Cadillac CTS-V, each with their own unique aspects. Let me know for your thoughts about that. Join my Discord server located in the description, and you may subscribe. Bye!